Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back. This is Mike. Welcome back to another movie log. Start off this beautiful, warm Saturday night. My glass of rum and coke. Cheers to my friend Sir Ian of Mountfordshire. Anyway, so let's talk about some of the films that I've been watching lately. And let's start off with this franchise that some of you may have heard of. It's kind of obscure, but I did watch all these movies. It's called Planet of the Apes. Does anybody know anything about this? Just kidding. Okay, Planet of the Apes. Now, I watched all five of the films and the documentary, which is called Behind the Planet of the Apes. Here's my Planet of the Apes story, if anyone's interested. In 1968, I saw the original film. I was 17 years old. Loved it. Everybody did. Fantastic movie. One of the best science fiction films that had ever been made up to that time. Everybody liked it. So when the first sequel came out, the title was Beneath the Planet of the Apes, and I thought that is the dumbest title that they could come up with. I'm not going to go see that, so I didn't see any of the ongoing films. Totally forgot about Planet of the Apes, and I think I saw the original film once, maybe on television during all these years. And I liked it. I mean, you just don't forget the imagery of that last scene. You know, that is just something that never leaves your brain after you've seen it. So well done, so dramatic. So anyway, a few years ago at Big Lots, I found this, and I can't remember now how much it cost. It was very cheap, $5, $8. It might have been 10. I'm not sure. And the only reason I picked this up is because I'm a crazed collector, and it was such a bargain. I was not going to pass this up, and I thought, well, maybe I'll watch all of these someday, or give one or two of them a chance. At least I can rewatch the original film because I know I like that one. So, starting last week sometime, rewatched the first film. I had forgotten how incredible it really is. I mean, even though I knew, well, I forgot so many of the details, but of course I knew how it was going to end up in the final scene. It was just as moving and as mind blowing as it was the first time. Great, great movie. So I started watching the sequels. Much to my very pleasant surprise, I loved every single one of them. Now, I've had people on YouTube, a lot of my friends are really into the Planet of the Apes films, and I always just kind of ignored it. Even when I bought this, I just, someday I'll take this off the shelf and watch it. But I really liked all these movies so much. So I stand completely corrected, and very happily so, that these are all such great films. Now, the third movie, let's see. Third movie is Escape from the Planet of the... No. Yeah, it is. Third movie, Escape from the Planet of the Apes. And then the fourth, Conquest. They got a little bit darker and had more violence and all that. But, I not a lover of violence, but I guess it was appropriate for what they were doing. And I love the characters. I love Roddy McDowell. I love Kim Hunter. It was just fantastic. And I'll stop babbling. I also watched the very good documentary called Behind the Planet of the Apes, hosted by Roddy McDowell, which went through the entire series and talked about it. And yeah, very happy that I finally took this off the shelf and gave it a chance. All right, now something else. I I'm dedicating this little segment to my YouTube friend Bobby Gass. Bobby Gass left a comment on a video that I did about a week or so ago. It was our community chat where we were talking about impressive cinematography that stayed in our minds and made us aware of cinematography for the first time. And Bobby, in his comment, he mentioned Lawrence of Arabia. And I wrote back and said, well, I've never seen Lawrence of Arabia. And Bobby commented back to me, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but I believe he used the word unacceptable, for a film fan not to have seen Lawrence of Arabia. And I thought about it, and I decided Bobby was right. So on my next trip to Barnes and Noble, I picked this up. Lawrence of Arabia. It was on sale, and I loved it. Thank you, Bobby, for turning me on to this movie, this epic, which has been around forever, and I just now got around to seeing it. I really loved it. Very long. You might say it overstayed its welcome just a little bit. So much marching through the desert and too many battle scenes and all this, but you can't You can't complain about this story. I mean, a real life story based on true characters, true happenings, the political situation back when this was taking place. Uh, Very moving. Peter O'Toole is fantastic. Omar Sharif, Claude Rains is in it. Oh my God, just a great movie. Beautiful music. The It's one of these epic films that even on the DVD, they put the entrance music, the intermission music, and the exit music on the DVD. And I sat there and listened to every note. So thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Bobby, again for shaming me into going out and buying this. Very glad that you did. Now here's a very recent film that I decided to pick up because I'd heard so many wonderful things about it. From 2020, this is The Father, starring what is this guy's name? Anthony Hopkins and and Olivia Colman. Is that her name? I'm sorry, I need to put my glasses on here, folks. Anthony Hopkins and Olivia Colman. Hopkins won an Academy Award for this, richly deserved. I mean, this is an incredible film. Very sad, but I mean, it's just wow. It says on here on the back, powerful, must see, absolutely true. Here's the plot. A man, played by Anthony Hopkins, refuses all assistance from his daughter, Olivia Colman, as he ages. As he tries to make sense of his changing circumstances, he begins to doubt his loved ones, his own mind, and even the fabric of his reality. One of the most brilliantly made films I've ever seen because it makes the viewer take part in the dementia of the character, and we're totally thrown off course, not knowing exactly what it is that we're seeing, and everything keeps changing, and just brilliantly made, brilliantly acted by everyone concerned. And this is one of those films where you're going to have to watch it several times to really try to get some sort of a grasp on what you're seeing, and maybe you never will. But it's very much a downer. It's not a happy film to watch, but it is gratifying in every sense of the word. So, The Father. I rewatched a film noir that I had on the shelf for years. I've only seen it once. My friend Roger Kirby, my YouTube friend, had talked about this in one of his videos, and I decided to rewatch this. And I'm so glad that I did. This is The Big Clock from 1948, Paramount Pictures. It stars Ray Milland, Charles Lawton, Maureen O'Sullivan, George McCready, Elsa Lanchester, and Rita Johnson. Directed by John Farrow, who, of course, was married to Maureen O'Sullivan. This is a fantastic film noir with a great story. Ray Milland plays a newspaper, no, a magazine writer and publisher who works for this megalomaniac Charles Lawton, who owns the entire company. And anyway, Ray Milland, a murder takes place. Ray Milland, who did not commit the murder, is the most likely suspect. And it just has all these twists and turns. It even has comedy as well. Uh, Elsa Lanchester is playing one of the quirkiest, dizziest characters she's ever played. She is really incredible. Charles Lawton is, wow, just he gives an incredible performance, very intense, and he plays an elitist like no one else can, and it's just a great movie. Ray Milland is very energetic, and yeah, great dialogue, great direction by John Farrow. 100% glad that I took this off the shelf and watched it again. All right, I also watched a fairly new film, which was on sale at Barnes & Noble for $5, and I was curious about it. Annabelle. Annabelle, the ugly doll from The Conjuring and The Conjuring Part 2. And that's why I decided to watch it, because I loved The Conjuring and I loved The Conjuring Part 2 so much. Very unique, very well made horror films that were not, um, well, they were anything but routine, right? And this, unfortunately, is very routine. The doll sort of comes to life and makes everybody miserable. I uh, I wasn't that crazy about it at all. I was actually very disappointed. I was expecting something as thoughtful as the Conjuring films, and this was not it. But I know a lot of people like this. So anyway, I guess the next step I have to watch The Nun. I'm not sure I want to watch a killer nun movie, but I might pick it up sometime. And I understand there's another Conjuring film in theaters now, so I might go see that. But Annabelle, I will recycle this back into the culture. Okay, picked up a couple of films from my local disc replay. and things I've always been kind of curious about. They were cheap. I thought, what the hell? Let's buy them. The first one I picked up from the early 2000s. This is the Doughboy, a very sort of a experimental art film starring one of my favorite actors, a guy named James Duval. Let me talk about this. Let's see. James Duval delivers a moving performance as Hunter, a half Cherokee cursed with the unfortunate affliction of hemophilia, a white man's disease. Uh, Guarded by his overprotective mother, all he really wants is to be able to hunt like his father. And on his first and only hunting trip, he mistakenly kills a doe, a major taboo that earns him the nickname Doughboy and the disappointment of his father. As he goes forward in his life, his grandfather teaches him the importance, or yeah, the importance between hunting and killing, and gives him the courage to find the love he desperately seeks. Really, a beautiful little film. Great performance by James Duvall and everybody else. The only name that I know of is, let's see, Jim Metzler. I believe that's the guy that played his father. And very well done film. Watching this young boy face up to these difficulties in his life and trying to make his own way, and also sort of reconcile with his father. And it's a very beautiful movie. Okay, very impressed. The other movie I picked up, this musical from 1955 called Daddy Longlegs. Fred Astaire and Leslie Caron. Also has, let's see, who else is in it? We have Terry Moore and Thelma Ritter. Okay, can't go wrong with them. Um, Nice musical, some good routines, dance routines with solo between and between the two dancers, Caron and Astaire. But I the movie is not terrific. It came out in 1955, the same year as It's Always Fair Weather, which was another sort of a late entry into the musical cycle, and didn't do very well. This movie sort of made back its budget, but it wasn't a very popular film. Music is by Johnny Mercer, and it has two good songs in it that are very memorable. One is Something's Gotta Give, which is a classic, and a beautiful ballad called Dream. Okay? Now, you have to suspend your belief about whether or not a beautiful young lady like Leslie Caron would be romantically interested in uh, skinny 55-year-old Fred Astaire. So you have to take that into consideration. But Fred Astaire is always likable in anything that he does. Leslie Caron is terrific. So not a bad little film. I also rewatched a film that was talked about in a video by my friend Ian Forkerball. He talked about this movie called An Education. Not sure what year this came out. I can't read it, but sometime in the last 10 years, I'm not sure. But I saw this in the theater and really liked it, and then picked this up. And has people like Peter Sarsgaard, Alfred Molina, Rosamund Pike, Dominic Cooper, Olivia Williams, Emma Thompson, and Carey Mulligan plays the central character. This young high school girl who's about to graduate from high school has a chance to go to Oxford. She has all these advantages in her life because her parents have worked so hard and to support her, give her a good education. And she's very headstrong. She decides she wants to throw all of this away because she's met this older man, played by Peter Sarsgaard, who is introducing her to this elegant life, an adult life that she feels that she could just enter into and not need anything else. The education is not important. Book learning is no longer important. She wants this exciting life. It's a great movie. I like it very much. In watching this again, I really disliked this young girl. I liked her in the first time I watched it, but this time I saw her as just uh, the worst kind of bitch. Really, she just thinks she's better than everybody. She thinks that everybody else's advice and opinions don't matter, and she's determined to just wreck her life. And finally, she does make some good decisions. I think this would make a good companion piece, a good double bill with this movie, Apt Pupil, which is certainly much darker than An Education. This is Brad Renfro and Ian McKellen, also about a very headstrong young kid who gets involved with an older man, not romantically in any way like that, but just becoming obsessed with this older man's life because the older man happens to be an ex-Nazi, which is interesting. So anyway, double bill. All right, that's my movie log for this week. Thanks for watching. Comments are welcome. Let me know if you've seen any of these films. All right, good night.